Hi, Terry Doherty here. In today's session, we're going to talk about home and all the things that you can do in home. Home is not, it's not as fancy, it's not as glitzy, it doesn't go as deep into artistry as many of the other segments do, but it's a section of PowerPoint that does almost everything. And so that if you had to get along with only one real plain type of menu, home would be it. Fortunately, you don't. But we're going to go over home. We're going to see some of the things that you can do there because everyone needs to be familiar with the full capacity of home to get the most out of PowerPoint. Let's hit it. Home will be your best friend as a novice presenter. You can do a great deal. You just can't do the things that separate good presenters from outstanding presenters. Home is always open for business. It is the default menu that opens up when you begin to work. By the way, you should find a small arrow in the top right of the screen. And when we open that up, if we go down to Show Tabs Commands, that exposes all the menus for us so that we can see all the options that are available to us on Home or any of the other menus that we choose to work with. So that's a great start right there.
Home, be it ever so humble, is where we spend most of our time and get most of our work done. Home in PowerPoint is a lot like that. When I was younger, much younger, I was a Boy Scout. My pride and joy was a Swiss Army knife. It had tools for every wildlands challenge, none of which worked as well as the full-size tools, but they worked. Home is the Swiss Army knife of the PowerPoint menu. You can't do all the fancy things we'll be able to do with specialized menus later on, but you can do most things reasonably well. Our PowerPoint Swiss knife is sharp and handy. It's got things like cut and paste, manage slides, format, align and organize, draw shapes, color shapes, find stuff, even dictate, and finally, great ideas. The first tool on our PowerPoint offers a pair of scissors. Cut and paste. Often in PowerPoint, we need to snip something out of the picture, or copy it, or put it somewhere else. We've blown up this session. It's labeled Clipboard.
Let's take a look at Clipboard. We're going to start out by doing a little pasting. And here we have a kind of an irregular version of the Gettysburg Address. It's not terribly well formatted. So let's format it because we have all the tools that we need to do that up here. And I'm going to highlight it. And let's see, I'm not sure about the bolding, but let's put it into italics. And let's go over here to paragraph. And if we go to paragraph and go right up here to line spacing, we can make it double spaced. We can go down to line spacing options and we can align it to the left, just like the APA wants us to do. And we can go down and check first line. Okay, that's good. All right, that looks like a winner. Let's see what happens. Okay, now we have a couple of relatively beautiful looking paragraphs. What if we want to format something else? You know, do we have to go through all those steps? Well, not necessarily. We have this highlighted now. If we go back up and click brush and come down to the next slide where I have a bunch of unformatted stuff, I can rush over it and bang, we have the formatting in place. Clipboard is not restricted to just messing around with the words. We can also paste in pictures.
Managers try to reduce chaos and shape the direction of a group. Next on our menu is Manage Slides. Files is the place to start, but beyond the first slide, you may want to insert or shuffle these key pieces of your presentation.
Okay, the next thing we're going to take a look at are these tools for managing slides. And that basically is up here, not surprisingly, listed above slides. We just open it up. We can choose blank, which we're used to, but you also have several different layouts you can choose from. For example, you can do a comparison. You can do two with content. You don't necessarily have to go and choose from these selections. You can go back and choose to duplicate an existing slide, particularly when you've developed something that is a little beyond this real minimalistic sort of slides. That you may want to use the duplication. And we just duplicate it and we get the same slide down here. Layout is just pretty much along the same lines. Let's take a look at a blank slide. If we go to layout, we can select, let's say, content with caption. It will change the slide that we have. So we can use new slide for adding slides on with different formats, or we can use layout to change the slides that we have. And of course, we have a reset button that we can go back and change over. Now, if you are doing a joint project or simply doing a long presentation, or sometimes you maybe have a module that you want to divide up, you can use sections. And with sections, we just click an area that we want to have a section in. We go to sections and add section. And then you have a section that you can name and use as kind of like a chapter within your presentation.
How we dress for an occasion tells people a lot about our level of sophistication. How we present our words says a lot about our knowledge of the subject and audience. Format, under font, you can dress your letters for academic writing or color them and shape the theme for comic effect.
Let's take a look at format. Format is a feature that's very similar to what we have in Word. But if you're not familiar with Word, then you need to be able to use it in PowerPoint. If we look up here under the menu for font, this is where we're going to find most of our format features. One of them, let's pick a word. We can go through and bold words, make them pop out more. Or we could color those same words in a variety of colors to make whatever points we want to make with that. We can go through and select a group of words and italicize them, or perhaps underline them. We can also jump up here and change the fonts that our words are in. or we could change the size of those words. Make them bigger, make them smaller, either way. So we can also determine whether or not we want them to be capitalized or uppercase or sentence case or a variety of setups. Let's just make them all uppercase. That's good. Let's try lowercase. Okay. So, and then we could do sentence case, and they'll at least all start with the correct alignment.
Let's leap to the next tool. In many things, being correctly aligned for the situation can make a big difference. In paragraph, you can align, add numbers or dots, and set paragraph formats, just as in Word.
Just as with Word, we'll have the need to align text in PowerPoint. For example, we have this set of ideas that have been written out, and we can go up and choose to align them left or right or center or justified. You can also divide them into columns. And depending on how they are organized in those columns, they may look a little differently. Arrange, except it's somewhat more three-dimensional than the alignment that we normally use with text. We find arrangement over under drawing. And if we click on arrangement and have highlighted something, we can bring it to the front or the back, or we can move it a little towards the back or a little towards the front. Precision parachutist. And let's move them to the back. And now they're behind all the other things that we have arranged. Oh. Highlight a group of shapes and go to arrange and align them so that they can be aligned all on one side, or they could be aligned the top, or we can align them across the screen.